Hello, and thank you so much for dropping by this video. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to be alive. I'm alive because of the information I'm about to share with you, literally. And it's one of my deepest joys to share it with other people. And pardon me, I may have someone who will want to join into this live broadcast. Sorry for the little cell phone. And so I've titled this talk, The Actual Teachings of Christ According to One Who Was Like Him. It's a very bold statement, yeah, to say that I have an understanding of the actual teachings of Christ and that there was someone who was like Christ. Now, isn't that interesting that it's considered blasphemy to say that someone was like Christ? And yet, this person I'm going to talk about, Bruno Groening, was the most Christ-like person I've ever heard of, meaning reminds me of Jesus, meaning, tens of thousands of miracles happened around him. And through his life and his work and his teachings, I feel that I really have a profound understanding of who Jesus was and what Jesus actually taught. So let's just get right to it. What I'd ask is that everyone put aside for a moment everything that you've been taught about Jesus, everything you've read, because there's a lot of opinions out there, right? Many opinions. But I ask you to put that aside and listen, because what I'm going to share is, on the one hand, radically different, and on the other hand, it's really the core of every understanding of Jesus. What I'm about to share is really the core, the essence of that. And it's very simply this: connection to God, reliance on God, trust in God, being guided by God, being sustained by God, or more accurately, recognizing that we are sustained by God, and to consciously take in the spiritual sustenance that literally gives us our existence, without which we couldn't even take a single breath. So that's what I consider to be the essence of what Jesus taught. Faith in God, reliance on God, connection to God, feeling the presence, the peace and presence, and then tapping into the power of God. So this is very, if you notice what I'm saying, it's very simple. Because most discussions about Jesus get really complicated really quick. And you'll notice that what I'm sharing are actually spiritual principles. It's not really a theology. It's not really a belief system. It's more like a way of life. Spiritual principles for us to live out. So much that's said around Jesus has to do with belief systems. And that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about a way of life that I sum up very simply as God reliance. So how to rely on God? Well, the very beginning of that comes with, it's all based in humility. Without humility, we're not going to rely on God because we're going to think we're self-reliant. And Bruno Groening said that I am nothing, God is everything. And I believe I'm utterly convinced that's the same thing that Jesus taught. We have record that Jesus said, "Of myself, I can do nothing." But what an attitude! What a profound a radical attitude to say, "I'm nothing without That's actually what Bruno Groening said. What are we without God? I say with conviction, nothing. It's a very, very radical perspective on life, because so much of life is about, or at least I don't want to say life, so much about modern living in the 21st century is about being self-reliant, being a grown-up, being able to do things on our own. Now, I'm not talking about becoming dependent on other people, but what Bruno Groening said of himself, and I believe this is what Christ called us all to. He said, I am and remain a child, simply a child of God. I know that I am nothing more, but most people have grown up. They don't want to be a child anymore, but I am and remain a child of God. So that's a lot of words and a lot of principles and ideas, and I hope that you take some time and reflect on them. And now let's take a little time and, well, we can take a little time and reflect on them, but maybe more accurately, take a little time and connect to this to the great reality, to God, source, the maker of all that is. What I've given the bold declaration, and more like I've repeated Bruno Groening's declaration, that which we are utterly reliant on, God. So how to connect to God? There are so many ways, so many forms of prayer and meditation and various spiritual undertakings. And Bruno Groening taught a very simple one. He called it Einstellen, which is German for tuning in, attuning, focusing, aligning, tuning in and attuning with God. It's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed, upright position, if possible, not leaning against your chair, and close your eyes. Now, please hand over to the divine, to higher power, or to a spiritual helper you trust all problems, all burdens, all worries. Really separating yourself from any and all problems. And then asking a spiritual helper such as Bruno Groening, such as Jesus Christ, or a spiritual helper you trust, to help us take in this energy and observe your body, noticing what you feel, having the will and intention to take this energy in. So gonna listen to some music and just feel and observe our bodies. And every now and then I'll come in with a gentle reminder. Just observing the body, relaxing and taking in the goodness of God. Just giving away all negative thoughts, all burdens. Beautiful music and beautiful divine energy. So I invite people to really reflect on some of these ideas of being reliant on God and the need for God. It sounds so quaint in the 21st century, the need for God. But I would argue that here in the 21st century, we need God more than ever. Just look at the state of the world. And by God, I'm not talking about religion, though people of all religions and no religions are welcome here. What I mean by God is individuals having a direct connection with the divine and being guided by that and led by that. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a beautiful day, and hope to catch you soon. Take care.